Let's see if we can get this right. Need to get my phone connected in here. We have some good connection, it looks like. So hopefully everything plays out good. Okay. We'll see if we can get anybody online. I am going to do this from my desktop, so hopefully it comes out. Please say hello as you come in. All right. Okay, I'm going to try to do this from my desktop because every time that we talk about what's going on, today in the United States of America, it seems that people don't understand that this channel is nonpartisan. This channel is for Americans. CCN World TV News. Hello from Jamaica. May God bless you. God bless Jamaica. May you guys have a wonderful day over there. Uh, One of the reasons why I haven't done my lives on my desktop, number one, I normally don't. But second, um, the views for some reason don't get promoted as much as on the cell phone. So we're gonna give this a try. Hopefully, it's not too complicated. You're very welcome. Jamaican people are very beautiful people. Um, let's see, Omar, how are you, my friend? Watching from USA, MAGA, make America great again. Amen to that. And let's make the world great again. I think there was a time when the world was great. This video today that we're actually going to do, we're going to go ahead and review. This is a podcast from the famous Gavin Newsom. And I think I spelled his name right. We'll see. I want to do this because people think on the left, they think that every time that I do my live, I am always defending Donald Trump. And it's not true. Maybe it is. But that's because he's doing so great. And people never tell me what he's doing wrong. Kevin, how are you, my friend? Viva Honduras, Catracho. Jewel, how are you? God bless you. God bless you all as you're coming in. If you guys don't mind, I really want to start today with a prayer. You guys can hear me okay? Is there an echo by any chance? Anybody? Any echo or the sound okay? I've been having some issues with the sound and not very good with doing this on my desktop, to be honest. So, little disclaimer. Catracho, ¿se escucha bien? The sound coming out okay, guys? Let me see here. All right, sounds great, says Omar. Thank you so much. Guys, just give me a few seconds. Father, I want to thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for all the blessings. Father, we thank you for all the things that go wrong in our life, the things that strengthen us, that gives us more wisdom. I ask you today that you let your Holy Spirit please guide my tongue. Please give me calm and serenity. I have failed many times, but today I want this podcast, Lord, to come out in good faith. And I want people to get something good out of it. I don't want it to be my words, but let those words that come out be words of truth. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Thank you guys for that. I had to do it last night. Omar, I don't know if you were still here, uh, but um, you know, there was a couple of people that they were being annoying at first, and I don't mind that. I always tell people, hey, it's a freedom of speech, etc. Right? But they started putting my name, they started putting addresses and things that they have found in Google, and then they were threatening my life and my family's life and safety, and that kind of stuff, guys. I don't put up with. Okay. Thank you, Jewel. Thank you so much. God bless you. And so I let them get to me, and I think that that I let them get the best of me. And I was talking back, and I tell you this because I kind of felt not so sure about how it went, so I listened to it, and I don't watch it, but I listened to it. And when I heard myself speaking, to be honest, I turned myself off. I said, why did I do that? I sound just like the demons that are trying to provoke me. And I felt really, really bad. So today I wanted to start with a prayer. I know I'm not a perfect Christian. I do have a dirty mouth. I do say bad words sometimes. But I wanted to apologize if you guys ever get to watch that. I am so sorry. I really am. I will try to not let certain people get to me, okay? And if I need a moderator, I know Omar has volunteered, and who knows, maybe Kevin también, my Catracho brother, is gonna help me moderate some bad comments in here. Hopefully, everybody that comments in here is gonna be good. You will, Omar, and I will make sure that I make you a moderator if things get rough. Okay, nobody wants to hear the truth, so it's kind of hard. But what we're gonna watch it together, and I'm gonna make some points as they talk. I haven't seen the video myself. Like I saw like a 30-second clip or something that Gavin Newsom actually put, and he just came through my YouTube feed, and so I heard it. And I was like, you know what? Let's listen. And I wanted to give the benefit of doubt. I was like, let me give them the benefit of doubt and see what they say. Maybe, just maybe, the interviews that I have seen Gavin Newsom do, maybe they're not the best. Maybe I'm wrong about some stuff. So let's see what happens with that. Let's see. We're gonna wait to see if we get some more people in here. Hopefully, you guys stay along for the ride. You need a moderator, says Jewel. Everyone does for your safety and integrity of your channel. I agree 100%. And it's like I said, I felt so, I don't know, I didn't feel good, to be honest. I felt that I let them get the best of me, and, just distractions, right? I made this channel so that you guys, so anybody that comes in here can go ahead and ask questions, and that they can, put concerns, or, even if they insult me, that's okay. But when they start threatening my life, I don't appreciate that. And unfortunately, I defended myself, and I should have just ignored it. I didn't know about moderators, so I am fairly new to doing lives with YouTube, and maybe that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people, they don't do lives. Not really. They do things that says it's live, but it's been pre-recorded. So it's not that easy either. So it looks like we have just a couple of subscribers on here. I'm not sure if the numbers are correct. Let me see. Sometimes my phone actually uh, tells me better information. Yeah, I think it's just me and Omar here, or Jewel. All right. Well, we'll give it a shot. We'll see. Let me close this out. Maybe nobody wants to get on because I'm going to be reviewing Newsom and Jasmine Crockett's little podcast. Let's see here. See, this is what I don't like using the desktop, to be honest. Just seems like it seems like the desktop just doesn't reach people out there, you know. Omar, you still with me? So I got 3 current viewers. Ah, man, like by now I will have like 200 on my iPhone. I mean on my Samsung phone. Stock market is up 1,000 points. Trump and Russia, Zelensky possible deal. TikTok, China. Speaking of TikTok, Omar, my wife keep telling me that I gotta do TikTok. I'm not sure. She says it's a good platform, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so Omar and me and Jewel, are you still there? Kevin, are you still there? Because he's telling me there's like only three people with us here. So, all right, I'll tell you what. I am giving this video a chance just because some of my subscribers are Democrats. They're a little lefties, but they put comments on my shorts, on my videos, and thank you, Omar. You're the man. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Jewel. Rumble, huh? I've heard about that. I'm not so sure how to do all that stuff, but I mean, it's like I have been so discouraged to use my desktop, to do this kind of stuff. You do it by yourself. It's a little rough start. Doing it with the phone, I don't like that you can't do the horizon look, the horizontal look. It's always vertical. And I guess that people, when they watch it on their phones, I guess that's what it's for. Um, I do have one, Omar. I never use it. Like, I find it like it's not. I don't know, man. It's just like not user friendly. I have an X account, and I got like 600 subscribers on there, and then I was like dropping to 300 something. I feel like they control your account too much, especially with the last thing that I read was that the Elon Musk has sent out a message saying, for the people that that are subscribed to the channel, or not the channel, but that use X, that not to put any hashtags anymore, or anything like that. That it's just gonna ruin the video if you keep doing that. I don't know if I was getting spam or what. Yeah, I haven't heard much about him, to be honest. Like every time that Elon Musk's name gets mentioned, it's like people just lose their minds. They think, oh, here goes another corruption. They think that whatever Elon Musk is evil. I'm gonna say this: nobody's perfect, and I like Elon. I sometimes I feel bad for him, to be honest. But when you work as hard as he works, a lot of times people tend to go to drugs, pills that will let them stay awake. And you know how he invented that little chip, right, that you can put in the back of your head. Supposedly, he was talking about that like a long time ago, but he was talking about how that chip was going to allow you, or a human, to store a lot of information. That it was going to be like a memory bank, that your brain, you can just pull it out whenever you need it. And I thought, this is like science fiction stuff, right? And yeah, all that stuff that he's doing is crazy. Now, what's interesting is that the Bible says that, in the last days, the technology and knowledge of man would be multiplied greatly. And we have seen in the last couple of decades how technology has gone just boom. And many people don't know Neuralink. Is that what it's called? Okay. Many people don't know this, but they actually have like a living cell organism in computers. That's crazy. Have you guys heard about that? That's some crazy stuff. I find that very interesting. That is, the technology is the mark of the beast, the 666, the triple sixes, and the Bible says that people will, they will put it on their forehead, or on their wrist, on the forearm, or something like that. And the first test that I saw about doing this, I was like, you know what? Years ago, before COVID, they were already inventing chips that you can put inside your skin, and then you can just scan that like a card, like a credit card. You guys know that already, right? So, that's something you can implant. And what was the other technique that they used for us during COVID? Number one, first of all, is they tested to see how much power governments across all and around the world have on people. How do you test that? Well, here we go. We're going to go ahead and create a pandemic, a fake pandemic, by the way. You guys should know this already. Uh, and how do they test your temperature? Right on your forehead, right? They test your temperature in your wrist, and these are just things to me that just little by little, they just kind of make sense. You're scanning yourself to go inside a building. You're scanning yourself to pay for your groceries. You're scanning yourself for fever supposedly on your forehead, and those are the kind of things that people don't even think about. And just when people get curious enough about it, politicians start fighting about something else, and then we forget what the hell we were just talking about. We forget about things that has been happening here that is alarming. And I'm going to tell you, listening to Gavin Newsom, you know, everybody gives him credit that he's this good looking dude, and he's got this good talk. I don't think he has good talk. I think he's a horrible actor. He does have that full head of hair that a lot of guys want, I guess. I don't care. I'm holding on to mine as long as I can, okay? I'm not going to lie. I'm holding on to mine as long as I can. But eventually I will lose that. And I am thankful, Omar, for hats. I can actually cover my losses with a hat. And they have some pretty good surgery now for hairstyles nowadays. Man, I don't know why it says I only have two people in here. To be honest, I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if if it's actually even worth staying live. I tell you what, Omar, you alone are worth being live. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and take a look. I will see if I can put this in here correctly, and I'm going to show you um, Gavin Newsom and Jasmine Crockett. Now we're going to try to break it down right as they talk, so that we don't get in trouble for showing too much of it. As a matter of fact, why don't we just do like maybe 20 minutes, see where we can go with it. And I guarantee you, we're going to fast forward this, and I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of racist, negative stuff. From the preview that I got, the 30 seconds that Newscom put on there, I can already tell that there's going to be some racial stuff in here, okay? But we don't support it. I think that most of us are actually people that accept everybody. Let's see, they have chips to pay for stuff inside your body like Google and Apple Pay. Correct. So whatever whatever you can do to pay with a credit card or with your phone, well, now you can just, swipe your wrist and you're good to go. So, they have found ways to use technology mixed with our bodies. You know, I mean, you guys seen the Matrix? Right? The Matrix talks about how much energy our brain and our bodies create to make the human body move. And so they have cultivated a bunch of humans and they just harvesting the energy from us. That's the Matrix. They're not too far off, man. I mean, I don't believe we're hooked up to some machine and we're dreaming, but some of the stuff like the when things slow down, that is actually an adrenaline effect. It seems like things slow down. Like for example, when I used to play basketball, I worked really hard on my vertical. I had a 37-inch vertical when I was in high school. I didn't get the record because the record was 37 inches. So your name doesn't get put on there unless you break the record. Does that make sense? So I would sometimes jump, and sometimes I felt so good when I jump that I thought at the end of my jump I can still get like another couple of inches off the air. That is crazy. Okay. When I play soccer, because I was a goalkeeper, I think I mentioned this before in my last life. Uh, I used to jump so high, especially when my adrenaline was pumping, going after a soccer ball. Sometimes my underarm would get on the top of the goalpost, and I'm talking about the goalpost, not the goal for soccer. I'm talking about the football goalpost. So, no, I am going to be 50 here pretty soon. Actually, I just turned 49 in June, so I'm a Gemini. I share the same birth month as the president. Maybe that's why I talk and think the way I think. Who knows? Must be the gym. No, I just completed my third week of going to the gym, starting at 5 a.m., doing a quick. So I don't have enough time because the gym opens at 5, okay? So I don't have enough time to get a really, relaxed, hard workout. So there's machines that you can use for every muscle in your body. And what I do is so I can do cardio or just the weights. I do both at the same time. And the way I do that is like I work out one muscle and then right away work out the other one. Just switch machines pretty much, right? We just keep switching machines nonstop. And that's the workout that I do in the mornings. 15 to 20 minutes daily. I'm not really dieting to say that I'm going to, try to lose weight. But I have noticed that, my body has been getting stronger. Um, no, when I was half my age, I used to work out twice a day, but I used to also run cardio. So I would run a mile, do 4 laps around the track, or just do the rope, all that stuff. I mean, those kind of things I still can do, but I stopped because of pain in my joints. But now it seems like my joints are feeling better. So it's crazy. I don't know what was happening, but yeah, that's my story. But health wise, it's been a little push. Trying to get my vitamins, trying to get all my stuff in there, but I'm still getting older. So, all right, we're gonna jump into this video. Oh, I know this is my addiction. This is something that it's hard for me to stop. This is what makes my teeth yellow. This is coffee. Look, I can't show you no more. Right there. I know I shouldn't drink coffee at this time, but that is my addiction. Okay, coffee is my addiction. I used to smoke cigarettes, and I smoked cigarettes since I was 18 for a long time. A lot of smoke, and then I was like on and off. And I haven't smoked for 2 years, so um, I like smoking. Don't get me wrong, I like smoking. I just choose not to, and that is a big difference. I think I live. Yeah, yeah, it's not good. Um, this is how I live my life, and I think that many people can do it. Thank you, Jew. Uh, People can't or don't want to do it, but I am allowed to drink alcohol and drink as much as I want. Okay, I choose not to. I'm a married man. I love my children. I can go and sleep with any women. Well, not maybe not any, right? But a lot of choices out there for me, and I just choose not to. And a lot of people think that because you believe in God and because you're spiritual, that that you don't get temptation, and that's not true. There's a lot of things that we want, but when we know that they're not good, we just don't do it. It's really hard, but it's possible. And Jewel, coffee is life. I think that is the little slogan that I see on the espresso shop that I go before I go work out. So, Omar, just for your information, I don't drink like protein shakes or anything like that, okay? I have way too much fat to use that. I need um, at my age, right? 50, I need testosterone. So I got to find ways to get testosterone back up. Right now, my levels are good, so it's not a problem, but it's something that I do have to maintain. We lose that as we get older. A lot of men out there, they don't. That's why they look younger, they look stronger, etc. But I do stop by the espresso stand. It's just like right out, like maybe a block and a half, maybe a block from where I live, and I drink a 20-ounce cold oak so I can drink it fast. And it has like 4 shots of white coffee, and then it has 3 shots of dark coffee. It's got a little bit of mocha, white mocha, for sweetness, right, for flavor, and it tastes so good. So I just mix that with the ice. That's my drink. White coffee is so good for you, and unfortunately, I like the taste of dark coffee. So I killed the benefits. All right, guys, enough about coffee. Here we go. Let me see if I can put this on the big screen so you guys can see it, and let's watch this together, okay? I get excited waking up to coffee. I do too sometimes, okay? I won't lie. I do too. All right, let me see if I can get this video going for you guys. Let me see. I need to get a crew to to help me control these videos. All right, let me see if I got this. All right, so this is Newscom. I mean, Newsom. I need to stop insulting him. It's just a bad habit. He's just done so many horrible things for us, for California. All right, let's take a look here. I'm trying to keep both of my monitors separate. All right, here we go. We want to put the volume here from the video so you can hear, okay? I don't know if you've seen this, but we're going to give this one a shot.
In the chambers. She's not walking out because she doesn't want to be assigned a member of law enforcement to watch every move. And I couldn't even imagine what that experience is like, but I couldn't imagine a better person to talk about it than you. Watching all of this from afar, the impacts indirect to democracy, the direct impacts to you as a representative, watching your own district lines changing. Give us a sense of what you're feeling right now, what this moment means to you.
So I'm feeling overwhelmed. And if you are paying attention, you should also feel that way. This isn't about me as an individual. This is about our collective democracy. It's one of the reasons that I think the country has galvanized behind what California has decided to do, because this isn't just about Texas. It's not just about the representatives in Texas. It's about the people. And so when you look at the lengths that they will go to decimate our democracy, that is when people should really have their hair on fire. And I don't care what kind of state you live in. And I personally don't care what your political affiliation is, because we are setting a dangerous precedent, one that could forever dismantle our democracy. So here we are as a Black woman civil rights attorney, and I'm looking at a state that is taking state actions against a duly elected Black woman to basically incarcerate her against her constitutional rights. And everybody is just kind of like, Texas gets to do whatever they want to do because we have a minion for a governor instead of a governor for the people of Texas. And so now, because he wants to do everything that he can to kiss the raggedy feet of Donald Trump, this is where we stand, to the extent that he is disrespecting Texans over and over and over, whether we're talking about the map or whether we're talking about the threats that were waged against these members and their family members, or whether we're talking about a woman, a Black woman that decided that she wanted to be free in the year of 2025. And basically she had someone who decided that he wanted to act like she is on a plantation. And so therefore she had to sign documents if it was that she was to have some semblance of freedom.
And look, I appreciate how you just laid that out and with vivid and clear lines. I mean, a Black woman.
Guys, this is the same woman that also says that Black people are tired of picking cotton, and this is why we need illegal immigrants in this country. This is the same woman that said that. And I already know that she's going to be racist throughout the whole video, even though I haven't actually seen it completely. I just saw this 30 seconds, but I already know. We're going to watch just a few minutes of it because I don't think we need to really listen to her that much, to be honest. I don't see any of my regular hating Democrats on my chat today. I don't know if they're actually watching. I can't tell. But let's go ahead and continue. We're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and move it forward. Let's see, maybe just when she's talking, she's the one that has the most. I'm sorry, guys, but she just doesn't have a brain. I don't know what happened to this woman's childhood here.
And it is why we applaud California and your leadership, because you said not on our watch. Two can play this game. Now, should we be playing a game when it comes to something like democracy? Absolutely not. But can we afford to take the high road as they continue to take away more and more rights, and we start to look more like a government that is run by Vladimir Putin than a government that is run by a respected and honorable president of the United States? No, we shouldn't stand idly by.
And so you don't buy the argument, two wrongs don't make a right?
No, I don't. Two wrongs are about to make it right in 2 seconds. That is for sure. And I appreciate the level of thoughtfulness that went into this because I think at the core of who we are as Democrats, regardless of what others may say about us, we really want to do what's right. The question is usually whether or not we have the courage to push forward, even in the face of adversity, to get it done. And this is ugly, this is messy, that is for sure, but it is the right thing. If you're going to take away 5 voices in a state in which I have been engaged in litigation since 2021 over the current lines, because we have argued that these lines were terrible and illegal. And the state consistently argued for the last 4 years that they were racially neutral, that they were perfect and beautiful lines. And then all of a sudden they get a letter from the Attorney General of the United States. Imagine that. The Attorney General of the United States decides that instead of, say, building up the civil rights division that she decided to tear down, the Attorney General of the United States that is under pressure to release the Epstein files that are within her control, she decides to prioritize going after Texas and telling Texas that they actually have not been race neutral, and they decide to act based upon her instruction. And we know that her instruction came directly from him. And so now we're looking at a situation in which no matter what happens, I can tell you that these maps are illegal. The question is, will we have these branches of government continue to fail us? Will we have a court that will strike this down in time and say, never mind, we're going to have to draw the maps? Because historically, when we've had all 3 branches working, that's what happens when one of the states does wrong. And there's no way to say that the state of Texas is doing right.
You bring up.
So you guys see, she always makes it about race, and I don't know if you guys follow, this kind of news. I watched the redistricting, I guess, hearing from Texas, and you know, gerrymandering is something that Democrats have done. I mean, California is what it is because of gerrymandering already. But the problem here is that she is always racial about it. I really don't understand why she has to be racial about it. Everything with these people, you know what I mean by these people, these crazy black people. A lot of like common sense black people, they understand what we're saying. Like they're literally on our side and they want to be patriots. They want their children to be patriots. But these people, like these two right here, and I guess we shouldn't even call it like, like a black people because Newsom is white and they are both on the same page. You know what I mean? Like it's no longer like a black thing. It's no longer like a racist white person thing. It's the same mentality of, let's blame somebody else for our mistakes. Let's blame somebody else for the evil that we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see. And I know, Omar, you're very supportive of me. I appreciate you. And that you do that because you're MAGA, of course, and you're a patriot. But, you know, a lot of these things that we see in today and age, it's they're trying to confuse people. And, I'll be honest, I think Gavin Newsom has about 400 plus thousand subscribers to this podcast. Now, wouldn't it be nice if he spent this much time fixing California? Maybe preventing forest fires like Donald Trump told him? Maybe he can help those peoples rebuild their homes? You would think that this would be the priorities of Gavin Newsom. He goes out there and fights Donald Trump on everything. I get it. You don't like Donald Trump. Okay, I get it. But what I want to see is an American. What I want to see is, okay, you hate Trump. I don't care about the tweets. I don't care about what you say about Trump. Okay, what I want to know is what are you doing for our people here in California? That's what I want to know. What are you doing about the high prices that you're complaining about? What are you doing about the high property taxes that you're complaining about? Is the last time I checked, local taxes are not made by the president. When it comes to property taxes, sales taxes, state taxes, it's called state taxes. That goes to you. That goes to the government of California. Gas prices are through the roof. We know how much the barrel of petroleum costs and how much are Californians paying. Some are actually paying the same as we are here in Washington State, right? In Oregon State. But Californians, man, they got to pay state and federal taxes. On top of that, they got to be able to afford high prices on food. Now, Gavin Newsom doesn't know why food is expensive at the grocery stores. Well, let me tell you what happens. The farmer uses fuel, gas, petroleum, right? Petro, as they call them in the UK. They use diesel so that they can run their machines, so that they can farm the fields. And then they got to put all the products together, pack it, and then send it out to the stores. They have to pay somebody to come pick it up, to put it in the truck. They got to waste diesel, so that contractor charges the farmer this amount of money for the delivery and pickup. On top of that, then now you have the grocery store. The grocery store has to pay sales tax, has to pay business tax, employee tax, and the more money they make is another tax. And it's like a tax after tax after tax. And who do you think pays for that task? The tax. I said tax too many times. I can't say that word no more. Okay, but he's blaming like every is. I'm sorry if you think that I am picking on only blue states. It's not about picking on blue states. It's just a fact. Oh my God, I wish that I can contradict myself, but they think tariffs are the most harmful type of tax for us, the American people. You know, I they talk about, and not this guy, well maybe they do, but they talk about, and when I mean they, I mean Democrats, okay? Not the American Democrats. I'm talking about the politician Democrats, okay? And I think they're corrupted. There is some corrupted Republicans as well. I'm not going to say they're innocent, and we can see that as well. Yep, we pay taxes for illegals. Illegals actually they do pay tax. Uh, Most of them they probably don't pay it under their name, but in order to work illegally, they have to have a social security or an ITN number. And the ITN number is 9 digits, just like a social security. So if they work, they can pay taxes. Now, the problem is for illegal immigrants, it's you break the law to come to this country. That's strike one. Then you work. In order for you to work, there is a law that you need a permit to work. When you work without a permit, it's another law that you're breaking. That's two strikes. And then if you don't use your name and use somebody else's name to work, that is fraud, and that's actually a felony. And so they have three strikes against them already. And so for me, it's so hard to defend that. And people get offended when I say that about illegal immigration. But it's not that we don't love them. We know we do. And we wish everybody the best. Amar, I love this country here, the United States of America. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful to God. And a lot of you Americans, especially the ones that come on to my lives, um, you guys give me a lot of support. You guys give me a lot of love, and I appreciate that. As an immigrant that has been here for almost 4 decades, Um, we want to hear that, that we're not prejudiced against. Yeah, people are always going to be prejudiced, right? Are you too fat? You're too short, too tall, too skinny, etc. But it doesn't feel right when you feel that it's not your country. When I first came here, after 5 years, I was able to go back to Honduras. Now, I grew up a lot. I got really tall within those 5 years here in America. And I was in a bus and I was watching the black people talk in Spanish, right? Honduran accent. The way I talk. And then I saw like all mixed people, light skin, Indian people, like all of us. We're just like here. We're a melting pot. And I was so happy to see that black people spoke like I did, you know, and it gave me a sense of pride. And so, what I was here for as a green card holder, a resident, for 2.5 decades. I just became a citizen not too long ago. Let me see, how long ago was this? I believe it was Donald Trump's second year on his first term. So about what, 7 years? Yeah, about 7 years. And I did that because I felt like after so many years here that I was part of this country. And even though, you've seen the comments, right, Omar, where that's right, brother, where people just hate the fact that I'm from Honduras and they always tell me go back to your country, which is can be a racist thing, to be honest, to tell somebody go back to your country. But if you're illegal, I guess they have the right to say it. If we're not, then that becomes a racist or a prejudice thing. But I became an American citizen, and when I'm here, and now I see all kind of different ethnicities in the back speaking English as Americans, right, respecting the law, it brings back that same sense of pride that I felt when I was in Honduras after 5 years of not being there. So I'll be honest, I love Washington State, but I hate to say it. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. It feels like like you love to swim, and so you get on this lake because it looks so beautiful, and the turquoise water and the ocean. I mean, the sky is just beautiful, clear and open, and then you get in the water, and there's all these algae on there. There's all these like plants that wrap around your feet, and it feels like you're almost drowning. It's not a good feeling, and it it sometimes brings a little bit of depression, to be honest. This is not what I want on my chat, but I'm just being honest with my feelings. Uh, okay, Omar. Now I know you don't like me. I heard so many things about Michigan being so cold and snowy. I don't know what that, brother. I'm a more tropical guy. This is why I kind of like California, because of the weather over there is a lot better, I think. When it does get cold, it's not a cold that I can't handle. You know what I mean? It's like a 50 degrees, 45 degrees. That's not a problem. Oh, but minus, oh man, it makes my joints hurt. Yeah, but you know what is, I don't have like real friends here in Washington. I mean, I have a few friends, but we don't hang out like back in the days we used to. We have been more separate and more towards our own, immediate families. I heard that some doctor, psychiatrist, I guess, or what do you call a psychologist? They say they have this study where it says that men need to hang out with other men besides just the family. And to some point, I think that might be true. I do think I miss, hanging out with my boys, but I'm also the kind of guy that if you're gonna be tempting me to drink or to smoke and to do something else, I'd rather be by myself. Maybe that's why my wife loves me. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. I think only Omar is active on my chat. Did I angry somebody else? Omar, what did you do? I didn't make you moderator yet, and it seems like you blocked everybody today. I told you, it seems like when I'm on my desktop, it just for some reason I don't know what it is. Is it settings maybe? I use OBS. I don't know if if people know how to use that, but I use OBS, and I don't know if maybe there is something that I have to change on settings. But I do notice that I get more activity from my phone lives, which today is Friday. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I will do a live on my phone after this. And watch it. Just stick around just for a little bit, okay? Once I go on my phone, and then you can see the difference on how people come in. I'm not sure why it does that. Maybe just people share the phone more. Maybe people just watch the phone more often. Whatever it is, I just know that it's a lot different when I'm on my desktop. Let me jump in here for about. Let me see. She's still talking. Oh my gosh, this woman. Let's go around. Let's cut it at 20 minutes. Let's see what's going on at 20 minutes with this Jasmine and Gavin. Let's see what they're talking about in 20 minutes. What is this, sweetheart? Uh, Not today. Oh my goodness! My daughter came and asked me if we're going to the pool. Not today. I'll take her tomorrow. So you guys don't feel bad about me saying no. Sometimes even oh cool, private office. Oh, Omar, you're the man. I don't have private. My wife come in the room, my daughter come in the room. I got my little setup here in my room, so it's very small. But I do it with all my heart. I think that I like to just kind of talk with people, chat with people, but at the same time give some type of insights on stuff. All right, let me go ahead and put this here. We'll probably just play maybe 2 minutes. Let's see how much of this crap we can put up with. All right, here we go. Let's see.
A lot of your time there. Tell me what it's like in DC. Tell me what you think this is really all about. And tell me if you think this is a preview of things to come, particularly, dare I say, around election in the midterms and beyond.
Yeah, so it's very dystopian to see. It's funny because I used to watch like The Handmaid's Tale, and I can't, right? I never finished, and I can't watch it because it is too close to reality. And so what we're seeing is this militarization, and obviously it started in your state. That was kind of the testing grounds. Going to your state, going to a Black woman mayor's city first. And now we are in yet another Black woman-led city and taking over. And to me, it goes again to the level of racism and hate that is constantly spewed out of this administration. Now, they hate for you to call them what they are, but listen, I mean, if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, then I guess it is a duck. So, like, racism is racism, and you are specifically targeting these Black-led areas. But more importantly, when you start to connect the dots, one of the things that we didn't talk about as much when we were trying to push forward against the draconian legislation that was coming out of the state of Texas at the time, back in 2021, was there was this provision about having basically people be able to monitor you while you were voting. And there was like recordings that came out where these like groups had gotten together and they're like, we're going to go down there. And they were talking about going into the areas that were predominantly people of color and monitoring them while they were voting. And they were limiting the ability of the election judges and the election workers to actually remove those people, even if they were interfering with someone's ability to vote. So it was like, nope, you got to give them one pass. So they could break one law for free. And then you could only get them out when they committed the second violation. And at the same time, they were changing access to firearms. And so essentially in these locations, you could have all these rogue actors that are armed as people of color are trying to go in and cast their votes. If nothing looks like pre-Civil War in this country, that does, like that imagery, right? So now you have someone who believes in this type of philosophy, who now has control of our National Guard. And so, you know, the idea that we thought January 6th was a problem and we thought, oh man, that's bad. And, you know, his army then was a bunch of white nationalist races, whether we're talking about the Proud Boys or the neo-Nazis or whomever, those guys were the ones that made up his army on that day to try to pull a coup. Now you're talking about a guy that every time he disagrees with something, he uses the power that he has because no one around him is checking him, whether we're talking about those in his administration or whether we're talking about the courts or if we're talking about the Congress. That is one of the reasons he is so desperate to make sure that he can win in the midterms, is because he knows that Democrats, it's not even about partisanship. It's about doing what's right. It's about doing the American thing. And to be clear, you can wave all the flags you want to, but I am telling you right now that the most unpatriotic people that we have in this country are MAGA and this president. We are the real patriots, and it is time for us to take our flag back and show people what America is about. You can't say that you love the Constitution while decimating it with every single stroke of a pen for an executive order, while decimating it, while you are disrespecting.
I don't know what the hell she's talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything she says has to be about racism. And oh man, I try to give these people the benefit of doubt. Linda, how are you? God bless you. Thanks for stopping in. So, what? No, believe me, I am the farthest person from being racist. Let me tell you what the problem is, Linda. Um, you already know about the digital pen, yes? You know that Joe Biden. Uh, I mean, the guy was sick. I get it. I don't blame Joe Biden for a lot of the stuff that the Democratic government has done. Okay, but maybe I'm misjudging, but I think maybe she believes that what she says is truth. I mean, maybe that's what her truth is. But everything, I'm going to start with January 6th because I know a lot of Americans want to judge that day. Okay. Now, I was surprised because I watched the court hearings, right? And all the stuff that happens on January 6th. One of the things that happens now, before everything just, hit the fan, Donald Trump called and talked to Nancy Pelosi, or to a representative, and he says, I want to give you 10,000 National Guard troops. That's it, 10,000. So that you can, protect the house and, do your thing, right? She said no. Now, this is the guy. The representative is actually, I forget his name, but he's in court. He's under oath. And he said 3 times Donald Trump, our president, offered to give 10,000 National Guardsmen. Okay? Good night, Jewel. You have a wonderful night. God bless you. And she said no. Okay. And then Donald Trump sends a tweet and then also a voice message saying to, protest peacefully, in orderly. He's not inciting, or like they said in court. Okay. Now, I am watching these court hearings, and they're showing videos of violence, right? All the people, just coming in and going all crazy and stuff. But here is what I watched before the court hearing. Before the court hearing, there were people with cell phones, right, recording. They found undercover FBI agents amongst the crowd wearing MAGA on them, saying, "Make America great." And then they started chanting violent comments, right? Like the rioters do when they say they're protesting peacefully. Now, people are recording these people on phones. None of those videos exist anymore. We saw policemen inside the house waving people in, letting them in, come on in, you know. And then one of those police officers shot a woman. I believe it was on their face. I'm not sure. But they shoot a woman. I believe that woman passed. And then everybody starts going crazy and they start breaking the windows and they start climbing over. And now the crowd is kind of pissed. And the reason for that is because Democrats, and not you directly, Linda, just a lot of crazy people on the Democratic side, they started, have been violent towards the Republicans. They, like, people forget we're all Americans, and so they have all this violence. They're burning businesses. They're destroying communities, and so the Republicans are pissed. They're tired of this. So when they saw this, they revolted. How can we blame them? I'm not saying it's right, but how can we blame the reaction of so much taunting and taunting and taunting? It's like being at the zoo and pulling the lion's tail, until the lion turns around and bites your hand off. You just can't do that. So I'm watching this court hearing, and none of these videos are ever made to light. There was even a blogger chasing a group of people dressed as Republicans, and they were FBI. They were actual Democrats pretending to be Republicans. This is crazy. And so I'm going to say this. Instead of trying to focus on Republicans are racist and they're liars, oh, Democrats are racist and they're liars, why don't we focus on the facts? Let's remove the illegal immigration problem. Okay, what is Donald Trump doing wrong? Let's remove the illegal immigration, okay, so that we don't argue about that. But what is Donald Trump doing wrong? Okay, well, he's making peace deals. And then when he makes a peace deal, somebody comes from the other side and says, pedophile. And then he makes another peace deal. Oh, we want to nominate the president for the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, that's right. He was best friends with Epstein. Release the files. Right? I know I shouldn't laugh, but laughing sometimes is kind of like a defensive mechanism, right? We laugh, but it's not really like a happy laugh. It's more like, I can't believe this is happening laugh. But every time that he does something, they just don't like Donald Trump. Now, you see, if they try to go after him because something bad happened or that he really is messing up, I would be more willing to hear that. But unfortunately, we have seen so many videos of them chanting evil. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find one from you. Let me see. This is Letitia James. Listen how evil this woman talks. Let me see if I can find an actual video that says Letitia James vows to, how would I say this? She vows to what? Put Trump behind bars? Let's see if I get something. Let's see. Let me see what this one is here. Hold on. Let's watch it together and see what it says.
We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before, and we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
Now, I wish that what she's saying there was sincere. That what she's talking about is that Trump is president. And that is the only thing that bothers her. It's just that he's president. And let's not forget that this is the same woman that right now is going through court because she has been committing fraud in real estate. Right? That's where I'm at with this. Like, she tried to make them look so bad, and the court just gave Trump a win, and practically said, no, what they're saying about you is wrong. They threw out the case. Let me see if I can find a better video. Yes, this is just a fraud, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she has it on here. I'm going to have to find this video. Let me see. I just want to play the clip to you. I know Megan actually had a video, and she actually did a good job. Megyn Kelly, her show. She actually did a good job with putting together everything Letitia says. Okay, so I'm not going to spend all night, obviously, looking for it. I wasn't expecting to talk about her. And then plus, I'm really still testing out my desktop with this stuff. It doesn't seem to be doing good, to be honest. But Linda, that's what we see. See, like, you guys see one thing, because this is the problem. A lot of people, if you're a Republican, you watch right-wing news. If you're a Democrat, you watch left-wing news. And I think that is when people make the mistake of hating the other Americans that we have to share this country with. You can disagree with me about legal and illegal immigration, but you can agree that migration is a great thing. Is that correct? This is for you, Linda, if you're still here. Do you agree that migration into the United States is a wonderful thing? I'm giving you a chance so that you can take something out of it, okay? And if I'm wrong, you can always search, look at the videos, look at the clips, look at the news, listen to all news reporting, and then you make your own decision, make your own opinion about it. Yes. Okay, migration is great, and I think that it is a great benefit for a few things. So there's people that migrate here, that they want to live here. They follow the law. Oh, well, congratulations if he's now an American. Is he American? Which part of Europe? Okay, so he's an American citizen now. And which part of Europe? You don't have to tell me where you are now, obviously, but where's your husband from? Spain, maybe. Hi, welcome. How are you? Welcome to the chat. I am finally using my desktop as much as I have been dreading to do it. Italy. All right, wonderful. Italians are wonderful people, but we also have mafia Italian. You guys seen all the movies. Italians are the worst. I think that we came here, he was 17. I came to this country when I was 13. I've been here almost 14. I've been here for 37 years. Congratulations for him being an American citizen, and for you, obviously, being his wife. I'm sure you guys are a lovely couple. There is a lot of real history and then Hollywood history. Okay, yeah. So he's a real American now. Okay. Hey, that's okay. That is one of the wonderful things about migration. We get to meet people from all over the world, and we get to pick one to be with us. Isn't that wonderful? This country is not a racist country. There is people out there speaking some lies about racism, but this country is not a racist country, and we've proven that over and over and over. God bless America. Thank you. Welcome. Yes. Congratulations to Linda. And we mean that 100%. We want American patriots. And I know it's hard to find the truth, right? Because we have so many people trying to tell us what to do. But if anything, I can say, let's judge by this. You know, and I've seen videos of this happening. Go to a place where I don't even know if they're Democrats, to be honest. I think most people get paid nowadays. But go to a place where you have Democrats, protesting, and then you have Republicans protesting on the other side. What I have seen is from the Democrat side, and I don't see. I am sorry, but if you're a Republican, I'm sorry about this, but I feel that it's not always fair to say Democrats because I feel there's a lot of fakes out there. There's a lot of people causing riots, causing problems, insulting people just because maybe they have a MAGA hat on. That's a freedom of speech. If we see somebody with a Biden Harris shirt, we'll probably laugh, but we're not going to mistreat you. We're not going to try to hit you. We're not trying to intimidate you. If anything, you might just get a hug. Am I wrong about that? Anybody in here can probably tell you that. Like you see Welcome just come in here, right? And the first thing that she says is, just wishing you well, congratulates you and your husband. It's not that they're Republicans. It's just that's the American spirit. Just as I can tell that you have it as well, Linda. And your voice and your opinion matter. But we have to look at both sides of the story. I know Trump is not, personally to you, may not be the best candidate. A lot of people say that he's racist and he's a bigot. What is it, fascist? What's the other word that they use? All kinds of Nazis and whatever, right? But what they don't tell you is that Donald Trump has been saying the same things as Democrats, even up to Obama, used to say. Remember that Donald Trump was a Democrat. I mean, I think a lot of people are probably Democrats at some point because the Democratic Party was good at some point. Unfortunately, communists have taken over. And with that being said, a lot of loyalist Democrats that are good Americans, they are being tricked, just like some Republicans are being tricked by some corrupted politicians on the right side. We see that on both sides. But we also see what the president has been doing, and we can see the results. When you have 70,000 monks trying to give the Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump and saying thank you for stopping their countries from fighting a war. When you see the Congo and Rwanda, I think it was, stopping their killing with their machetes, these people are happy that the United States is finally helping them. You know what I see with Americans? American people, and this is why I decided to become an American, and I had the privilege to become an American. Many Americans have welcomed me, just like Welcome My Lovely has actually come in here and said to you and your husband, if you're still here. Probably left already. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. But every word that I say, I mean. And, we want this country to be great. We want people in this country, Americans, and even those migrants that have come to this country, that have become Americans and that are working hard. And maybe, who knows, maybe now retired, but they have been good American citizens. We want them to be protected as well. We want all Americans to be great because Americans go to Africa, the poorest places on Africa. And unfortunately, they go to certain places where the violence is so great and they lose their lives. Christians are the first ones to be taken out. And I have seen Americans in Central America and South America, and I have seen a lot of goodwill, a lot of Christian values behind it, and they love to help the world. But unfortunately, they don't get the credit they deserve. And this is why I made this channel. I think Americans should be respected and honored, as this country should be respected and honored. Because I've seen way too many Americans sacrificing their lives. First of all, here on our land, they sacrifice their lives just to free slaves. You think that's nothing, right? Slaves, who cares? The slaves are all over the world. But guess what? White Americans sacrificed their lives to end slavery. And we did it, right? We take some credit of the bad and the good. And then we go around the world and we die for Pakistanians, we die for Spaniards, we've died for Italians, we've died for the French, we've died for the world. And yet, we're about 342 million people. China has about 1.4, and India is just right behind it. It might be the opposite, but they're over a billion people in just 2 countries. And yet, this is the country that has the most powerful military force on earth. And yet, we decide not to destroy a lot of little countries that we could conquer if we were an imperialist, party, like they say that we are. If we were as racist as they say we are, we would be pushing for total conquering domination throughout the world. Mexico can't stand the power of the United States of America. And yet, here they are. They're still free. They're still independent. The states that joined the American states, they were being oppressed by Mexico. Now, I've said this before in my chats. This is something that you can learn from the Mexican-American War. How did the Texas state become part of the United States? Learn that history. Learn the Constitution for each state so that you can understand what laws statewide you are supposed to follow. The one golden rule that we know is every state has the responsibility to make sure the neighbor next to them stays safe. When we support illegal immigration and then we make, what do you call those, sanctuary cities, we are not just doing that for good illegal immigrants. There's a lot of violent criminals in that group, millions of them, and that's crazy. It should bother you, right? But they are not being responsible because they're letting federal law, which is immigration, to be broken. And by doing that, by becoming sanctuary cities, they are punishing the American people. They are punishing their neighboring states. You know, I lived in Yakima for 1 year. Before I tell you that, I don't want to ignore you. Welcome. Let's see. Americans have been taught to be respectful, but not all are respectful. Sadly, that is correct. I wish everyone could be respectful and follow the law and take care of each other. That is something that a lot of people in the world want. I have a sister and brother who go to a private Christian school, and every day they go to school. I pray that nothing bad would happen to them. Amen to that. God is in control. My dad is a retired veteran who helped in the Afghanistan war. He's a medic. Man, God bless you and your family. May God's hand be over your family and protect you. You know, to be a Christian, it's not just say I'm a Christian, right? Nobody's perfect. My faith, maybe my faith is not as strong as I think it is. But the one thing that I can tell you is that what Welcome just said, it resonates in my heart, and I think a lot of people also believe that, and they think the same thing. So that's where we're at, and we're not just against Democrats. We're not against Republicans. I mean, we don't even go against independents. Of course not. We're just Americans, and we hope to reach a certain amount of patriots that will join one in peace in our country. I mean, that is the main goal, I think, that we all have, right, at some point. I know that a lot of the members that are in my channel, they actually are patriots and they're actually good Americans and they do try to be as good as they can, right? As an American patriot. Oh, even if are green card holders, guys, you know, if there's any of you that are green card holders in here, you guys are also excellent. And he says, El Tucker says, didn't Joe Biden try to do that in the Guatemalan board? Did he try to do what, my friend? What did Joe Biden try to do at the border? The last thing I remember about Joe Biden and the border is that he didn't believe there was a border. Remember how he appointed Kamala Harris to the southern border, which is actually the Mexico and the United States. And then she even went to Honduras and she said, don't come. That's it. That's all she said. She donated some old bulletproof cars that they will never be able to use in Honduras because they're too heavy, they waste a lot of diesel, etc. It says El Tucker says he secured the border in Guatemala. That's why Kamala went to the Mexican-Guatemalan border. Now, the live speech that she gave was not really a deterrent. I think a lot more people came even after she went down there. I believe millions still came to the United States of America. There was no, there's no power behind her voice. You see, she tries to be, how can I put it? She reminds me of a mother that says that she loves her children, but yet has a hard time disciplining them when they need to be disciplined. My mother disciplined me. Now she didn't spank me as much in my life, but when she did spank me, she let me know you don't do that no more. You understand? She made her point across, and that's why I guess I turned out to be the man that I am today, even though I was an idiot, young punk when I was young. Don't get me wrong, I've never been a bad guy, okay? But I didn't listen to a lot of good advice that she gave me. So I started parenthood young. I mean, I was 19 when my first son was born, and then I was 20 with my daughter, and then I was 21 with my next son. And, you know, I got married, but then after my third child with a wife, got divorced, not my choice. I love all my children, by the way. And then I was on my own for like 8, 9 years. Um, it was a rough childhood. I don't make excuses for my mistakes. Okay, not, the kids are not mistakes. My decisions in life. Uh, but at the same time, it's like up here. You know, I wasn't taught uh, to grow up the right way. My father died when I was 4, and my mother did what she could, but she was always working. And unfortunately, you know, my older brother, who was in charge, did not like me at all. Now everything is different, okay? When I was 25, we had a talk. He asked me for forgiveness. I also asked for forgiveness. We love each other. You know, we're a great relationship, I will say. He has changed his life around. He is a lot into the church and into serving God. So I bless him for that. If I tell you stories about my older brother being so evil, it's because he freaking was with me. But that's in the past. And all I have is his stories, no pain. I think by the age 49 now, as most of you know already, I don't think the same way that I was when I was younger. So let's see. El Toker says that Guatemala had protests due to the tight immigration in the Guatemala-Mexico border. Now, what was the problem going on over there in Guatemala? Because you have to remember that poverty or economic hardship, it's not a reason to seek asylum. So what was going on in Guatemala that was really bad? I know some stories, right? The campesinos, right, with machetes and all that stuff. We had the same thing in Honduras. Crazy Indians. Omar, hello, my friend. You've been pretty quiet. Get some comments in there, will you? Omar, guys, it's one of my loyal subscribers. I love Omar. Not because you're my subscriber. I love it because a lot of people talk really bad about what we talk about here. Even if we're talking about peace and love and all this stuff, they are very nasty with me. And when I have subscribers like Omar, there's a few others, but they don't chat here often, so I don't remember their names that much. But Omar always gives me a little word of encouragement. He's always giving me a little bit of amen or God bless and things like that, and I appreciate that. So Omar, you're very special to me. I appreciate you, and I really want God to bless you. So in Guatemala, what were the reasons why the Guatemalans would protest? Because the immigration was tight. I mean, it should be always be tight. There was a time, just so you know, there was a time where if you tried to cross the border, there was signs that said you will be shot if you cross the border. Omar is a good person. He really is. I will assume that he's Christian by the way he talks sometimes. Uh, but that's how the borders are. If you've seen the borders in Europe, right? Poland has been called racist because they don't want to allow anybody to come to the border illegally, and they deport them right away. They're out there with rifles. They're just waiting for somebody to come in, right? But that's their country, and that's what they got to do. They got to defend it. Poverty is not a reason to seek asylum. As a matter of fact, why don't we look up? Let me see what could be reasons. Let's see, asylum. If I can spell it right, asylum. How would you call that? Requirement? No. Asylum. Asylum requirement. Let's say requirements. Let's see what it says in here. Asylum requirements in the USA. Okay. It says to qualify for asylum in the United States, individuals must demonstrate they have been persecuted or have a well-founded fear of persecution in their home country due to their race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. They also be physically present in the U.S. or at a port of entry. The applicant must file Form I-589 and meet the requirements of either the affirmative or defensive asylum process. Now, I find it interesting. That they say that you must also be physically present in the U.S. Now, I don't believe, maybe they should reword that. I don't believe it's illegal. I believe it's as a tourist, as a visitor, or if you haven't come, in the plane for say, that you would have to be at a entry port. Now there's other things. Let me see. What is it? Generally, asylum applications must be filed within 1 year of the applicant's last arrival in the U.S. Work permit eligibility. After 150 days from the filing date, applicants can apply for a work permit and the case has not been delayed due to their actions. Of course, that means your behavior, right? So we are willing to accept this asylum process, except a lot of people just do stuff that, well, they lose that privilege as well. Green card eligibility. If asylum is granted, individuals can apply for a green card after 1 year. And so I believe that there has been some asylum seekers approved in this country, and for some reason or another, they have let their permits expire. And when they have let their permits expire, is when they get in trouble. They must act, accordingly. And then once they get the green card, they can stay here and as long as they want. And when they leave the country, I believe they got to be back within 6 months to a year. I can't remember the actual timeline, but they cannot live in their country and then come back, saying, I'm a green card holder. But you say, wait a minute, you say you're an asylum seeker. Why are you living back in your country? Right? And that just tells me that people are looking for the benefits that the United States can offer them. Also, people says, welcome here, want to try and pull the move. What if the need to leave the country due to issues? Well, there are things that the U.S. does that help immigrants that need help. Well, and we have this, so we have this rule. If you are in the United States of America and you want to work here, of course, you got to have a work permit. Now, if you're here illegally, you don't have a work permit. And for companies that want to hire people, they are mandated, or at least they used to, hire people that were legally able to work in this country. And I believe there was a fine, and the last thing that I remember was about $10,000 fine if an employer hire an illegal immigrant to work for their company. It doesn't matter what company. And now we're hearing that these people are actually paying taxes. Like, wait, how are they paying taxes when they have no permit to work? No employer should be able to give them work because they will get fined $10,000 and probably, spend time in jail. How is it possible that these people are paying taxes? It's not possible, right? Well, there is if they get an ITN. The ITN is a 9-digit number, identification number, that is the same amount of digits as a Social Security. So a lot of systems accept it, blah, blah, blah. I find it incredible that a lot of people that defend illegal immigrants, they say, but they're hard workers and they're paying taxes. And everybody forgets that you need a working permit to be able to work. And the work around it has been that they are forced to do their own business. So they work illegally as painters, they work illegally as sheetrock placers, framers, anything for construction, right? And some of them get good enough that they become themselves their own bosses. So they go and get an ITN number. It's easy to get a $2 to $5 million insurance. It's very cheap, to be honest. And then once they get the ITN number, then now they can go to the city where they live, and then they can register their business. Their name is a trademark, and they become company owners. And so they can do landscape work, they can do painting, they can do framing, they can do construction. And that's how they make money. That's how they work. And so if they are using their own name, that is one thing. But if they're committing fraud and using somebody else's identification, well, their time doesn't matter how good they are at work, they should be in jail. That's a felony, right? And this is the problem, that people get upset when these people come and get arrested. I've seen older people that get arrested, but these guys have like molestation charges, raping charges. And man, that's not something we can condone. It doesn't matter if he's your grandpa. If your grandpa's a pervert, he's got to go. You know what I mean? And it's just like people think that I just want to sound evil. And maybe they say all Republicans are evil. But look at the way that we talk in our chat, in our live chat. We tell people, God bless you. We want prosperity for you in your life. We want God's protection over you, and they just see us as MAGA. Today I don't have my hat, right? Today I have my flag, but my hat's still here. I wear that because I don't think it's right that many people go off on our president. Like, I get that he has a bad past. We all do, okay? And this is what Jesus says. Anyone without sin cast the first stone, right? Well, none of us are without sin. So none of us can cast any stones. We cannot judge. And if we judge, we got to judge righteously. How do we judge righteously? Well, if you see somebody stealing, you can call them a thief. But if somebody says that person stole until you find the proof, you can't judge. This is why people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Now, what do we have in the court of law? We used to have the 10 Commandments. I'm not sure if they're back yet. But it used to be a thing in the court of law. The 10 Commandments was there, right? People will swear an oath over the Bible. And what happens? You get so many foreigners coming to this country that don't want to assimilate to our rules, to our culture, to our way of life, to our laws, and they don't want to make an oath over the Bible. This country was built on Christianity, whether people like it or not. And I see how they just don't like Christians. And unfortunately, it's like Muslims coming in, and they think that they can conquer or change this world to their religion. And that's not how it works. You can blame Putin, right, for what's happening with Ukraine. Number one, I want peace, right? But we're disliking Putin. A lot of people are hating Putin because of what's going on in Ukraine, but they don't understand. They have their reasons. And for somebody to go over there, drop bombs, kill people, that's horrible. But it doesn't make it any better for religious Antifada to come to the United States, go throughout Europe, and what do we see? We see our own Christian governments being ran because we're Christians. We're supposed to have mercy and love, and we're supposed to welcome our foreigners and our neighbors, and they take advantage of that. Let me be clear. Every single one of you has to see yourselves as a shepherd. As a shepherd, you will protect your sheep. If you see any wolves amongst those sheep, you got to get rid of them. Anybody that does not respect your country, that does not honor your country, that does not salute your flag, they're not your friends. I watch soccer games, right? Especially when they play in the World Cup. You will see that every time they are playing both national anthems, the players have respect on both sides. Now, they don't have to salute, but they maintain the respect for the most part. Nobody's perfect. And you can see that those who are patriots to their country, they actually sing the national anthem. And I think everybody should know their national anthem. I am horrible. I don't know the national anthem of the United States. I know parts. I don't know all of it. I can't sing the whole thing. And I have gotten the lyrics, but I am such a horrible singer. I just can't follow it. Only the best parts. Now, in Honduras, when I was young, they actually forced us to learn the national anthem. And if you didn't know it, and they asked us to sing a part or to recite a certain, part of the national anthem, and you didn't know, they would not let you go to the next grade. So sixth grade was tough because you had to learn a lot of stuff. You had to memorize a lot of stuff. And then seventh grade was first year of college. Can you believe that? Seventh grade was first years of college in Honduras. Here, seventh, eighth, ninth. Well, now I guess ninth grade is part of high school. That's actual college to us. But the American system is so far behind when it comes to studies. The way that they teach our kids, it's a real shame, because in Honduras we have to learn geography. Over here, I don't even think there's a class that shows geography. Like it would be equivalent to like world history. Like you will learn where France is. You will learn where Spain, Italy, Russia, China, Vietnam, Taiwan, all this stuff. You will learn all that stuff. And you will know, specifically, the Americas. Like we know in Central America. Let's start with the North America, right? We know Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and then you go down to Venezuela, Brazil, Ecuador, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay, Peru, and Argentina. You know what I mean? It's like they teach us what's in our continent. And one of the stories that I tell people sometimes is like when people found out that I spoke Spanish, they will always ask me, "Oh, are you Mexican?" And I had to say, "No, I'm from Honduras." And now, to make a story short, from 7th through 12th grade, and believe it or not, even till this day, adults, when I tell them I'm from Honduras, what is their question? Where's that at? That is crazy. Crazy. I'm like, how do you not know? It's just two countries down south. Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. It's right there. Just to just gotta remember two countries. How do you not know what's in America? At least learn that if you don't want to learn about the African continent, about Australia, if you don't want to learn about Antarctica. Oh man. Oh well. Let's go ahead and end this desktop live. Omar, you're gonna hang tight, right? You're gonna join my live on my cell phone. I think I saw the most in here was like 7 people. So mostly it's been just us 3 or 4. All right. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close this live, and then I'll go ahead and go live on my cell phone, and we'll see what happens. Okay, Omar? Just give me a couple of minutes. Have a great day, buddy. God bless you. I'm gonna do a live on my phone, okay? And then we'll continue talking. God bless you all. Have a good night. I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay? Oh man, I love you guys.